What's up, YouTube? Pluto here, bringing you another review on one of my favorite weapons in the game right now. This hand cannon right here, NAZEISTRA'S Devotion. Let's start off with talking about its unique ability. There are two parts to this ability. The first part is when you land a hit on an enemy's weak point, you will apply Devotion's Mark. What this does, it debuffs the target's defense by 10% at base and up to 30% at ability level 4. So this weapon is really important to farm extra copies to max out your ability to achieve that 30% debuff. The second part of this ability is not as good in my opinion, but it's still important to mention and could be useful in some situations. If you land a shot on an ally instead of on a weak point, you will restore a portion of their shields at the cost of your MP. That's why I think this is not really worth it, because you don't want to give up MP for shields because shields come back so easily. But it's important to mention that it is here, and it could be useful in some situations. Now let's talk about the base stats for this weapon, which are amazing, by the way. And it just got a buff, which made it even better. We'll start out with our critical hit rate, which is a massive 45% at base. That is huge. That means any crit mods that we add will boost this incredibly well. And then right underneath it, we have our critical hit damage, which is a 2.25, which is also really huge. I think it's like one of the highest in the games, which will also boost really well with crit damage mods. You can kind of see that this weapon is a crit weapon. But not only with it being just a crit weapon, you move down to its weak point damage. That also was pretty high at a 1.7x. To me, this weapon just seems like an all-around powerhouse, and I really enjoy it and the feel of it. And then we'll jump into our substats, and I'll just tell you what I'm looking for because I don't have it yet. The stats that I am looking for is going to be critical hit rate, critical hit damage, weak point, and firearm attack. I personally can't wait to get these rolls because the gun already puts out so much damage. I would love to see what the extra damage from those two mods could bump it up to. I want to see if we can get close to a 3 million. But these are the best rolls that I have so far for the time being, so this is what we're rocking with. Let's jump into our build. First, we're going to start off with our staple mods most weapon builds will have. Our firearm attacking boosting mods, rifling reinforcement, and action and reaction. These two mods combined will give you over 100% extra firearm attack, so they're a must-have for most weapon builds that you do. Next, we're going to have our critical hit mods, which they're going to boost our already high crit stats at base. We have better insight for critical hit rate, better concentration for our critical hit damage. And since our critical hit rate is already so high on this gun, we're going to choose to go with another critical hit damage mod to boost that instead, which is going to be concentration priority. This does come with a reload modifier negative, but you can avoid this by adding other mods like reload focus or something like that. But I'll go ahead and tell you right now, the reload for this gun is already so low at base. You see it's 1.95. That's with the modifier, with the negative 30%. That's barely noticeable, especially with the ability to reload cancel in this game. Whereas as you're watching the bar fill up, anytime it gets past 60%, you can roll or do any action in the game and it will cancel the reload and give you the full mag at the same time. So with that being said, we're going to choose to increase our magazine size even higher with concentrate support mag. And what this does is going to increase our magazine size by 30% and further increase our critical hit damage by an extra 4%. That's why we chose this, because you get more out of the critical hit damage than you do the critical hit rate, because the crit rate is so high on the gun already. And the reason why we choose to go with the magazine mod here is I ran into situations where I feel like I needed just 1 or 2 more bullets to finish the job. And so that's why I ended up choosing to go with this over something like reload focus. And also, I don't feel the reload time is needed, just personally, but that's something you could switch out and change here. And then the main star of the show, in my opinion, is probably going to be this weak point expansion, which is 140% damage every 5 seconds just for hitting a weak point. This mod is the mod that allows you to see those 2 million plus numbers. But to help this out and achieve those numbers a little higher, we're going to have our 2 weak point mods here, have aiming and weak point sight for 35% and a 40%. You do end up losing accuracy for this, but the gun is already so accurate at base that it's kind of negligible, almost not noticeable. So this is pretty easy choice to pick for the massive 40% increase. And when this procs with all 4 of these mods combined, you're getting a 15% extra damage on that weak point, which is massive. If you made it this far, we'll show you the best ways that I chose to farm this weapon. We'll go to the schematics first. The best thing you can do is probably the Grave Walker. That will probably be the fastest. What you'll do is you'll run the operation. You'll get the amorphous material, and then you'll just come kill the Grave Walker in like 2 or 3 seconds. The drop chance on this, I think, is like 30% chance. So this is one of the highest percentage chance to get this. So Grave Walker is the easiest. You'll be able to get the most done the fastest. Same thing for this one. Comet Executioner and Dead Bride. Both of these are good choices. They'll be faster than doing these reactors. Because these you have to go farm the amorphous material from the thing. Sometimes you need Sharon for it. Sometimes you don't. So ultimately, it's just faster just to come and farm these normal bosses. I think you can get like a whole run done and a boss kill in like 7 minutes. So you get like a whole chance at a drop in 7 minutes. Same thing for this one. Common Dead Bride and Hangman, same thing. Same thing for Stunning Beauty and Dead Bride. You're pretty much just going to want to go farm the easier bosses to get this gun because they all end up having like 30% and very high percentages. To kind of close this out, this is probably one of the best and hard-hitting guns in the game right now. And it also applies a debuff for your team. So in my opinion, this weapon is a must-have, must-grab, must fully max out. Especially if you're wanting to see those 1 million hits on regular. 1 million plus on regular hits, and then the 2 million on the expansion hits. You're going to want to fully max this weapon out. And in my opinion, you should 100% go for this weapon. I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, I am free to play, so some of these builds will take time, so stay tuned for more build reviews. Catch you in the next one.